Okay. So now, let's tell a scary story. So, I'm from an abusive family, and I always knew my dad was like a wife beater, and for some reason, that was horrible. And I've always known that like I can't hit a woman, but it was still understandable because, I mean, later on in life, like, I won't say who, but one of my boyfriends hit me. Well, non-consensually. I think all of them all of them beat my ass consensually. All of them. But I've been hit. And I understood it in that moment. I've also been hit many times by like bullies too, so don't worry, but like, and the partner who slapped me was it was like on the arm, and it was in a very intense moment, so I understand. So I'm not mad at that. But I could sort of understand that anger, I guess. So then he died, and then I had always asked to see him on his deathbed, and this is like COVID era, and I had already flown across the world to see my mom, who's a living doctor. So I was like, okay, well, surely then they can tell me when my dad's dying. But no, he died, and my sister celebrated, and my mom was just being very stoic, and I felt in a weird position because I was always told that I didn't experience the same amount of trauma as they did because I was the youngest. Even though, I mean, the lack of having a parent is still very traumatic, you know, and everything that you see and everything that you even experience in the womb. So it just sucks that my mom doesn't believe in these things, but that's why you just don't go to South Carolina for a doctor. But yeah, so he died, and then it shocked me that nobody respected my wish because I don't care about him that much, right? And I knew that my sister was going to celebrate, and I knew I was going to be really sad. Actually, no, I didn't know that. That was the biggest surprise, is how sad I was. And then things just started getting like stranger and stranger after that, because yeah, like basically that same week, my sister told me about how my father had raped her and stuff, and the reason why I like really believed it, because like, mind you, she's faked suicide attempts in the past, like she's unscrupulous, but she was drunk, and then she drove me home drunk, and she knows that my biggest regret in life, I had 2 DUIs like when I was underage, they're both expunged, but she knows that was my biggest regret in life. And so when she told me that, I was like, well, then this has to be true. I mean, because I don't know what would be the point of, I don't know. I mean, like when I get wasted, I usually get more honest, but too honest sometimes, like, and annoying. Everyone knows that. But and then it just started getting weird. Like, my mom started accusing me of lying when I wasn't lying. They started telling me that my father wasn't a drinker, and he definitely was a drinker. There was lots of this, like, my mom and sister started acting very bizarre, and I don't know. Well, my sister was just drunk all the time, so that's that. My mom was just acting very bizarre, and I was like, what? And then it's a long story, but basically I was only living at home to recover from drugs. That living in Berlin during COVID, I got really dark for a bit. I'm not a strong Prussian. I'm a weak little Jew. But oh, and so then, so I got illegally evicted in July of last year, because in South Carolina, a verbal contract is still a contract, and a tenant is a tenant, a landlord is a landlord, and you have to have at least a 30-day notice. But she kicked me out, and then I it was so bizarre because it went, she's normally very rational because she's like a scientist like I am, And so I sort of gave her, I learned about all these different typologies of violence and how to sort of avoid violence from happening. And also how to sort of analyze past incidences of violence and how you could have avoided it. For me, there was no violence, but I was so angry because I was accused of violence. I was accused of being hateful and violent. Neither of those things. I threw glitter on someone's bed. And then as the year went on and homelessness became harder and harder, and a lot more traumas kept happening and things coming up, I think my family's fighting over like the will of my dead uncle, and it's like, who, like, I get it, we're Jewish, but like, let's not be that Jewish, please. Like, that's disgusting. That's really disgusting. I mean, like, just respect the man's wishes, and like, and then, or it made everyone else start thinking about their own wills, and I'm like, well, I have absolutely nothing, and I still know who I want my nothing to go to, so it's like, I don't know, all this like will stuff. It's like, if you want to think about death, then stop for a bit and think about it, and like think smart about it. But that involves thinking smartly about your life, and I think that's what people don't want to do. But anyway, but the final straw that I got really concerned and I like called the cops and everything was then she started saying that she didn't give me injections as a child. And I used to always brag about, oh, that was my favorite part. I'm terrified of needles, but she used to put me under, so I would get like, I don't know what happened to me. And now, yeah, I mean, if she was giving my sister to my dad, then she was probably doing it to me too, I guess, you know. And I don't know, it's just hard because my sister never talked about it. And he's dead, so there's nothing you can do about it. And it kind of sucks because it was like, I really liked my Jewish side. I still really do like being Jewish. But like, I do kind of feel like that was robbed from me. It's because I don't feel like I have any more. She's not my mom anymore. So. I think I want to move to Laos.